the game for Roy Halladay.
What is up, everybody? Snap just threw me off so bad. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Phaithful Phanatics podcast. I'm your host, Dylan Davis, with my co-hosts, Matt Snaps Szymanski, Matt McGinty, George Ryder. Fellas, another loss. No victory Monday, Thursday, Wednesday, whatever we want to call it, but they went down swinging, so to speak. So we're going to be breaking down the Ravens-Eagles game for you guys. We're going to preview the Eagles versus Giants game that is on tomorrow night. Short week for the Birds, so pretty pumped for that. And we'll give our pigskin picks, and maybe, just maybe, we'll talk Phillies and JT Realmuto. I don't even know why I'm wearing this organization's merchandise right now, because they pissed me off that badly and they're run that poorly. But anyway, how are we feeling tonight, guys?
I guess. I mean, we're used to this by now. We hop on the pod after an L and we talk about the L. We're pretty used to this by now. It's kind of like a constant circle of life at this point.
It's very depressing, George.
Yeah, it is. It's not fun. It's not as fun as winning.
No, it's not. But
You know what that feels like.
but I will say that I'm not turned off by this team yet. They haven't this season has been such a roller coaster. This division, this team, all the injuries piling up is such a roller coaster, because guys, think back to week 2, week 3, when we're sitting here like must win week 2. Then they lose to the Rams. Then it's week 3 against the Bengals. Okay, if last week was a must win, this week is the definition of must win. And now we're going into week 7. They have one win on the year, and it's still like,
I mean, it helps that the Cowboys are 2-4 and look like shit too. That it's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. But all right, so let's dive into the Eagles-Ravens game on Sunday from last Sunday's afternoon. The Eagles lost to the Baltimore Ravens 30-28. They trailed 17-0 at the half after Jake Elliott missed another 50-plus yard field goal. And then the Eagles come out and outscore the Baltimore Ravens 28-13 in the second half, 22-6 in the fourth quarter. You can say whatever you want. The Ravens took their foot off the gas. That may have been true for a moment there, but it definitely wasn't true the last 2 scoring possessions the Eagles had, because the Ravens obviously did not want Carson Wentz and this team moving the ball down the field late in the fourth quarter for a possible comeback. I feel like a lot of positives that I took away, once again, specifically offensively, and our franchise quarterback, Carson Wentz. Also some negatives. Coaching was an issue yet again. The linebacking core was an issue yet again, and injuries plagued this team yet again. So, guys, again, we'll start with you. We'll start on the defensive side. They gave up 30 points yet again. It's not a recipe for success in the NFL. So, what did you see defensively? Because all we talked about was, can you make Lamar Jackson try to beat you with his arm and take away or slow down the running game? Lamar Jackson scored, a 40, 50-yard touchdown run on a 4th down. So, how did you think the Eagles' defense played as a whole? The defensive line, I thought, looked really good. Take it from there.
I definitely agree with the defensive line. The defensive line did, I think, look good. But overall, the linebacking core, again, just looked atrocious. On that touchdown run, we bring him up again. But Nate Gary looked like he was in no man's land, which is why we brought up last week maybe trying something else with a different linebacker that's more athletic. And it didn't happen. And, again, the defense got shelled for over 30. But you know what I mean? You're not going to score 30. You're not going to give up 30 points consistently and win football games. So the defense, again, very underwhelming effort in my opinion.
George?
Yeah, super underwhelming. I mean, the defensive line looked good. They did everything they could to keep us in that game and keep us from winning. But all in all, like, the linebackers are just terrible. It was like the same thing as we've seen all year, really. So I don't know what they're going to do about that. I don't know how they're going to fix it. I don't know why Nate Gary's still getting on the field at all. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next week or tomorrow against the Giants. So it'll be a lot less inferior opponent. So hopefully they stand on their stand on their head and figure it out.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to stand on your head against the New York Football Giants, but
Hopefully not.
we'll see. Snap defensively. Did they contain Lamar Jackson to? I mean, obviously they were in the game, so.
I don't think they contained him very well. I mean, at points they did. The line did a good job, but if you're not going to cover the middle of the field, you're going to lose every game. It looks like, especially when you have such bad linebacker play. And Lamar, yeah, he got contained at points, but basically he had a field day. I mean, he had that one pass for a touchdown where he literally, I'm almost positive it was Nate Garrett. He crossed him up and threw a touchdown pass. I might be wrong on the defender. It was I forget what period it was, but it was in the red zone. It was about 20-yard line. He hit him with a sidestep back to the middle and just threw for a touchdown pass. So yeah, I mean, besides the D-line, not impressed by anyone.
It's just so weird. Yeah, they definitely didn't contain Lamar's legs. Like you said, they showed flashes of playing well, but 9 carries for 108 yards and a touchdown from Lamar Jackson, an average of 12 yards per carry. Outside of that, that's the weird part. It's like you almost feel like they did everything else right. Like Mark Andrews only had 2 catches for 21 yards. Nick Boyle, the other tight end, 3 catches for 33 yards. Darius Slay held Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, to 4 catches for 57 yards. He was their lead receiver. Rushing-wise, outside Lamar, J.K. Dobbins, 9 for 28. Gus Edwards, 14 for 26. Mark Ingram was 5 for 20 before hurting his ankle. And Lamar only threw for 186 and a touchdown. It's like they did so much well, and it wasn't good enough to get the job done. So with that being said, let's switch to the offense, because was it close? It was damn close to getting the job done if the offense can convert a 2-point conversion at the end, but there's so much leading up to that you just were shaking your head at how is this team still in the game? And there's one answer. Number 11. The sole reason you were in that game, okay? Carson Wentz to the past is starting to come out. That 40 or so yard run he had to pick up a first down, shedding a tackle down the sideline was incredible. He was backpedaling, throwing darts off his back foot, threw a touchdown pass off his back foot with 4 dudes bum rushing him because the offensive line couldn't stop the 4 of us on Sunday. He was hit 16 times. He was sacked 6 times, I believe. Mm-hmm. We all know how the offensive line was set up. Jack Driscoll goes down, so then a part-time ROTC instructor from Arizona State, Brett Toth, however you pronounce his last name, he steps in at right tackle next to right guard Jamon Brown, who the Eagles released today. It was clear that Calais Campbell and this defensive line just said, we're coming through the right side of that line. Miles Sanders gets hurt. Zach Ertz goes down. Just all over the board. And they still found themselves in the game. So what were your guys' takeaways offensively? Obviously, I know we're going to talk a lot about Carson Wentz, but maybe outside of that first, like what did you like? Miles Sanders rushed for over 100 yards, but he only had 9 carries before getting hurt. So what were the bright spots offensively?
I'll definitely say Miles Sanders is a bright spot. Besides that drop in the end zone, that kind of stung. But
I didn't even touch on that yet.
Other than the ground attack, he looked good. Mailata looked good again. Other than that, on the offensive side of the ball, Travis Fulgham obviously is still really good. But other than that, no one else was – whoa, that just shows you how good number 11 was on Sunday. But in terms of bright spots besides Carson Wentz, I'm only going to go with those 3 guys.
George.
Yeah, I mean, number 11 is the only reason we're in that game. And it was that, and the defense did what they could, but it's hard to win games when you put up 30 points against your opponent. So, I mean, like you said, Miles Sanders looked good on the ground. The drop balls were really frustrating, especially the way Carson was playing. There was 2 big ones that were just like heartbreaking. It just sucks to see that. Fulgham looked good. I think he had 6 catches. Ertz was still quiet. He had 4 catches on 10 targets or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and besides that, no one really stood out. I can't wait to see Lane back this week because that's going to be huge for the offensive line help. Hopefully Carson doesn't die before next week. The man gets hit like crazy. It was tough to watch, but all in all, it was Carson Wentz's team, and we almost had it. 1 field goal away, and we have the lead. So, tough game, tough loss.
Snap.
Yeah, pretty much what the guys said. Fulgham looked good. Sanders looked good. Ertz is still non-existent, even though he got hurt. In the time he was there, he was basically non-existent. And Wentz is starting to get back into and I won't say MVP form, but
I know what you mean.
The Wentz of old. We're used to seeing this type of play from him. We're used to seeing him turning garbage men into wide receivers. And it's nice to see him coming back. It sucks that he doesn't have a line right now. You're basically asking for him to get hurt until this line comes back. So hopefully he can stay healthy through the next couple weeks. But yeah, as in last Sunday, he looked great, man. I can't complain about Wentz this week at all.
All right, so let's talk about number 11 for a second. He was 21 of 40, 213 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 5 rushes for 49 yards. Yes, I know he had the fumble in his own zone early in the game, but outside of that, he played a clean game. So the way, I was texting during the game, and as it was getting later, I was like, man, if this, I think it was when it was 17-6 or 24-6, either or, I was like, if this team, if this offense can just compete and show signs of life and move the ball against a good defense, 11 continues to improve, I'll feel a little bit better, right? Because the first half was disgusting. Did they have a first down in the first half or until at whatever point in the second quarter?
Yeah, they got one in the second quarter.
So their offense was non-existent in the first half. But something clicked in the second half and especially in the fourth quarter. And he basically said, he looked around at what was surrounding him in that offensive line, and he said, hop on, I'm going to take you there. And he damn near did it, man. Like, no, forget only losing by 2 points. I haven't heard. I know on Twitter that day that like people were exploding about the drop balls and everything. 2 drop touchdown passes, okay? A missed field goal at the end of the first half. Doug Peterson calling for a 2-point conversion when you're down 17-6, which made you have to go for a 2-point conversion late in the game. Doug Peterson on 4th and 2 before it was the drive before the end of the drive before the first half, before Elliott missed it. You could have taken a field goal there. I would have went for it as he did, but he tried to QB sneak on 4th and 2 with that offensive line against maybe the best defensive line in football. What are you thinking? I know the QB sneak's there, but dude, 4th and 1, 4th and 2 with our offensive line, you don't run that play, okay? And not just the 2-point conversion play in the beginning, but the first 2-point conversion attempt that failed and the last one, the play call and design was just, dude, Carson willed you back into this game. He was unstoppable with his arm. And your play call with that offensive line and Boston Scott in the game, not even Miles Sanders, is to run a read option from the 2-yard line. The play couldn't even develop, man. Like, that was the most deflating part. But, yeah, he got hit. He was once again, over and over again, he was once again a gamer. He is starting to look like the Carson of old, as Snap said. That's the biggest takeaway. And that's why I don't like having moral victories as an Eagles fan, as a fan in Philadelphia. But you have to admit when they're there. And they're there. Look at the last 2 weeks, he and this offense have put the team in a position to win over 2 teams that could compete for an AFC title this year. No, the number 1 defense and number 2 defense is who they played the last 2 weeks, and they've dropped 57 points in the last 2 weeks. And he's had no one around him to help. When Miles Sanders and Zach Ertz went down, him and the center, Jason Kelsey, were the last 2 remaining starters on the offensive side of the ball. That is incredible to me that he even brought them back in the game. So my hat's off to Carson Wentz. My guy, I always try to have his back. He was not good in the beginning of the year. Don't get it twisted, okay? I'm not defending his play in the beginning for 2 weeks. But he looks like he's back, and now, they have 3 weeks here and a bye week where against inferior opponents get a little healthier. We'll see. We'll dive into that. But final takeaways from the game, guys. We know Travis Fulgham continues to progress. Yeah, I think he's the first Eagles wide receiver since Terrell Owens, or the only other wide receiver besides Terrell Owens to have a touchdown catch in his first 3 games as an Eagle. He's the real deal. I think that was solidified with a jump ball touchdown over Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters to almost tie the game in the fourth quarter. Carson Wentz and the defensive line looked really good. So there are key takeaways from this game. All in all, how are you feeling? Again, I think we're on the same page of it sucks that we lost, especially when the game was there to be won against a really good team, and it would have been wow if they did. But you have to feel okay afterwards, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree. Carson Wentz is the only person in the locker room that can literally say he did enough to win the game. He pegged Miles Sanders in the face with the ball in the end zone. He dropped it. He threw John Hightower a ball in the first possession of the game. He dropped that. Carson Wentz did plenty to win this football game. And, I mean, the critics –
Number 4 missed another 52-yard field goal, but
yeah, that's just – and Doug was, again, just
right.
Not playing up not good. The fact that he also said, I should have called a timeout, like –
no shit. He also said that they were out of place.
Yeah, I just – if he should have called a timeout and Schwartz should have called a timeout the week before, who's calling the timeouts?
Right.
What, does Howie have to scream it from the booth upstairs? Like, it's just – Doug has been so bad this year, and it was just another week where he was bad.
George, final takeaways?
It's great to see Carson Wentz look like Carson Wentz again. It's good to see that he did everything he could to win that game. Defense did everything they could to win that game, even though it didn't look pretty. They really did. Putting up 30 points is rough. It's going to be awesome to have Lane back this week because Carson Wentz gets hit like crazy, and that is so tough to see. And all in all, I mean, it would have been amazing to win that game, especially against the Ravens and how we have a tough schedule at the back end, like very tough schedule. That would have been a huge win. But we're half a game back from the division. We have a pretty good schedule coming up, and tomorrow is a very winnable game that I think they're going to be motivated to get. So we'll see what happens.
Snap?
Yeah, like everyone's saying, it's good to have Lane back. I'm glad to know that's coming. It would have been a great W, especially against the Ravens. I didn't expect it, but it was a great fight. Wentz is starting to look like he's back in form. And big shout out to Jalen Hurts. They're getting creative with him, and I like how they're using him right now. I think he's done more than anyone else we drafted this year. So big shout out to him. And I'm much more optimistic this week, especially the fact that we're going against a shitty team.
Yeah, I think so. Finally, again, you sent out a tweet. It must really suck to be a Carson Wentz hater. Like you're a loser if you hate Carson Wentz. And I just want to throw this out there, and I'm not saying it's anyone that's listening to this or going to listen, but I saw on Twitter people claiming that the Miles Sanders throw was not a good throw.
That's
Let me explain something to you, people that don't want to watch football or pay attention to the details, okay? Miles Sanders ran a wheel route, okay? So do you know where his head is? It should be facing to the left. I know the camera's all weird, but it should be facing to the left. His initial turn to the right where he looked like he lost track of the ball, that would be for an out route to the corner of the end zone, okay? He turned the wrong way. Carson Wentz did not misplace the football. He put it right where it was supposed to be. And regardless, it's not like Sanders turned around and put his hands out and the ball was right in his face. He watched it come into his hands for 5 feet.
Yeah. If you don't think that was a catchable ball,
dude, it's out there. Like it is
probably fall over your shoelaces IRL.
It is on social media with that's a thought in some people's heads.
That's just embarrassing if you think that.
So it must suck to not be a Carson Wentz fan. That's what I take away from it. But again, what am I bragging for? 1-4-1. However, moving forward into the Giants game tomorrow night, George, you said it, like they're going to be – I love that it's a short week for this game because even though you lost to the Ravens, there's still momentum there to take from Sunday's game with the comeback, with the 22-point fourth quarter and almost beating a far superior team when you're literally obliterated with injuries. So to have a short week and get that and keep that fresh in your mind and come out and get it back in the win column, hopefully, that's huge for me. But they have an opportunity here because the NFC least might be the worst division in NFL history this year. And I know that's been the conversation for like the last 3 years or 2 years. Might be historically the worst division this year, and I'm not even kidding you. Like a team like the Eagles or the Cowboys, whoever makes the playoffs, might have the worst record for a playoff team ever in the history of the NFL. But we saw on Monday night, primetime, just how bad this Cowboys team is. And I know there were some people out there like, oh, Andy Dalton, like he's a good backup, blah, blah, blah. This offense still has weapons. Their offensive line is just as beat up as the Eagles, or close to it. Ezekiel Elliott can't hold on to the football. Amari Cooper disappears far too often. And Andy Dalton is not the 2014, 2015 Andy Dalton anymore, okay? He's shot, and that defense has more holes than Swiss cheese, okay? So they are really, really bad. They do not have an easy schedule remaining. They play the Eagles twice, which are going to be critical games. And they play, I think, the Vikings, the Niners, the Steelers. They don't have an easy rest of the way to go in Cincinnati. So with that being said, the next 3 games are important, like super important, because I want to pull this comment up here. So the Eagles' opponent's record, other than the NFC East teams this season so far, is 20-7. And then starting in Week 11, you have the Browns, Seahawks, Green Bay, New Orleans, and then in Arizona, right? And then you finish up with Dallas and Washington. So you have an opportunity here. I know you have to take it one game at a time. But realistically, this Eagles team could be 4-4-1 by – Stats got company. This Eagles team could be 4-4-1 by what is that, Week 10? So these next 3 games are so big, and I just can't believe I'm saying that this team could be a 500 team soon.
Dude, and that's what I'm going to bring up too, is because when I broke down the schedule from the beginning of the season, I had after that last Giants game, the Eagles at 5-4. Because I mean, realistically, and that was me being pessimistic. Because usually I am pessimistic, and for some reason this season I'm not. I had them at 5-4. So if you're 4-4-1 after that, and I understand the division is still going to be horrible, and it will still statistically be very bad. Because if we get those wins, the other teams are getting losses, so they're still not going to be good. But 4-4-1, and at that point you might be rolling. And I'm not sitting here saying we're Super Bowl contenders. I'm not sitting here saying we're one of the best teams in the NFC. But this isn't a laughing stock anymore at that point.
You're going to get healthy. Like that's the main thing, man. Like you get a bad Giants team Thursday night. You get Deshaun and Lane Johnson back. Like that's what I'm hanging my hat on right now, is the fact that the majority of the injuries are not long term. They're not even 2 months long. Miles Sanders is only expected to miss 1 to 2 weeks. And from this past Sunday's game with the Thursday night game, it'll be, if he only misses Thursday night, it'll be 14 days until the Dallas game. So he could be back then. Zach Ertz is only 3 to 4 weeks. You get Lane and Jackson back. You're going to get Alshon back at some point. Dallas Goedert and Jalen Reagor are eligible now to come off the IR. They're not going to just yet, but they'll be back very shortly. So the offense, guys, is going to be even healthier than the offense. Isaac Seumalo will be back at some point. The offense is going to be even healthier than the offense of the first half of the Washington game, Week 1. I don't know how long it stays that way, but that's what I'm hanging my hat on. Like, this division is so poor, and you can't look at it as, okay, this Eagles team now with the weapons around Wentz is what he has to finish the year with. That's not the case. That's why I'm confident that the Eagles win the division, because the Cowboys are so bad, and the Eagles are going to be healthy at some point. Knock on wood. I don't have that for me, but
I got you. And on the Cowboys end, like, you got players calling out Mike McCarthy and the coaching staff for not having them prepared and not knowing what they're doing. I think that's a lot worse situation than we have with Doug this year.
That's really bad. I was really surprised.
And you said it was like 2 to 4 players. It wasn't even like one guy. That's not good.
Yeah.
Right. They got the bye week after. So that's what I'm saying. So maybe this week, so you get Lane and D-Jax back this week. And yes, we're going to break down the Giants game in just a second. I got off track for a minute. And then you get the Cowboys at home on Sunday Night Football the week after that. Maybe Alshon's back that week. Maybe, I don't know, and you're getting Avonte Maddox back this week for whatever it's worth, probably. Alshon comes back. And then you go into the bye, you get even healthier. And then for that Giants game, Who maybe Goddard and Rager are back. Sanders obviously will be back. Hopefully, will definitely be back by then. Maybe Ertz is back by then. Like you're going to be super healthy before you get to that rough patch of Cleveland, Green Bay, Saints, and all and so on for that 4 or 5 week stretch. So that's where I'm just leaning my hat on and saying, okay, we have a chance. And for all those people that like, oh, it's time to tank, blah, blah, blah. The Eagles would do this city a huge disservice and fan base a huge disservice if you don't try to compete when the division is wide open. I know it's bad, but how would you not want to see your franchise quarterback who hasn't competed in a full playoff game get another home playoff game and a chance at that? The young guys in Rager and Fulgham and Goddard and Miles Sanders play in a home playoff game. And if you're healthy, who the hell knows what happens if you get the Chicago Bears? The Chicago Bears are the worst 5-1 team in NFL history, in my opinion. So if you get a team like that at home, maybe you even pull out a win in the playoffs. I will take an Eagles playoff game and a chance to move on week by week and see how it goes than just say, you know what, the division's in reach, but let me get a top 10 draft pick because I don't even have faith that Howie Roseman would successfully go through with that draft. That's my rant.
I agree 1,000%.
Good rant.
So with that being said, let's see if we can turn the page here, get the Eagles back in the win column, get the 2-4-1, and get a little bit healthier. They start that with the New York Giants coming to town tomorrow night. Thursday Night Football. They're going all black. I'm seeing people on Twitter saying it's a desperate move.
It is a desperate move.
Dude, they wear all black on every Thursday night game now. It's not like it's not like they haven't worn it in years and they're like, oh, we're pulling out the all black. Like if it was like they could bring back the Kelly Greens and they brought back the Kelly Greens this week, I'd say, all right, you're pushing it. But
I still think the blacks are kind
of maybe. So, George, we'll start with you this time. What needs to happen defensively? Because obviously we know Saquon Barkley is not playing for the New York Giants right now. So the New York Giants, Daniel Jones, Golden Tate, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram, they have some guys in their receiving core. They also have veteran Devontae Freeman that the Eagles didn't want to take a look at, Wayne Gallman, Deion Lewis. So they can compete. You saw that even before the Dak injury against Dallas. Yeah, that defense is really bad, but they were beating Dak and the Cowboys before he went down and brought them back a little bit. So what is the game plan maybe in your eyes for Thursday night?
I have zero worries about the defensive line going into tomorrow. The biggest thing is the linebackers and covering. Yeah, Darius Slayton is good. You have Evan Ingram. Like they're not a bad receiving team. Don't let Danny Dimes throw dimes on you. That's really all you have to do. Because if you can hold them and you can put up points on the offensive side, things should be okay. Like the defensive line doesn't scare me. I don't think they're going to run the ball like crazy. I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball like crazy on us. It's the linebackers. If the linebackers can do a decent job, and they weren't last week sucked, but they did what they could, and now they're going up against a far less superior opponent in the Giants. So figure it out on the linebacker side. D-line, I'm okay with. I don't think anything crazy is going to happen with the Giants running the ball or the run game. And put up points. You just have to put up points on this defense. That's all you have to do.
Snap defensively.
Defensively, it comes down to the D-lines because the linebackers aren't going to give you shit. Like, I agree the linebackers need to play better, but they're not going to do anything for you. So just don't expect – at this point, I'm at the point where I'm just not expecting them to do anything for me. They have a good game. Wow, it's a miracle. I'm not expecting it again. But – going into this week, I'm not expecting it tomorrow. So it comes down to the D-line. You need to pressure Daniel Jones. Get at him early. Hit him, put him on the ground. He's a second-year quarterback. He's no fantastic. He's not fantastic
in terms of turnovers.
Huh?
He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league in terms of turnovers.
Exactly. So put some pressure on the kid. He's a second-year quarterback. He's not that good. He turns the ball over. You put pressure on him, and maybe he actually makes a mistake, and the linebackers can capitalize on it, or the safeties or the corners. But like I said, it comes down to the D-line. That's your biggest component of your defense. You need to make sure they do their job well and just hit the kid. Hit him and hit him hard.
You want to talk about
Oh, God.
You want to talk about like people on Twitter talking about how Carson Wentz fumbles a lot. Look at Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason they talk about that is because Carson's 40 times million better than him, and he's not even on the same planet.
Agreed.
Carson Wentz, so they're more critical of him.
Again.
Yeah, I'm gonna snap on the whole linebacker thing. I'm done pretending like they have to play better. I still think Sean Bradley is an important piece in playing and having a chance to win Sunday night. Not saying he's fantastic, but I'm not even going to say his name. You know who I'm talking about. Cannot keep up with Evan Ingram. So I think the secondary is going to be really, really important. Obviously, Darius Slay is not a worry, but everyone else, because like you said, they have Golden Tate, what's his name? Darius Slayton.
Darius Slayton.
Yeah, he has an act for giving us some trouble. So whoever Darius Slay doesn't cover in that situation, I'm worried about. But I think the secondary has to be good. The D-line, like you guys said, I'm not worried about. I think they will get to the quarterback. But we need to capitalize on some mistakes. We could have had a pick on Sunday that was popped up in the air, and we didn't come down with it. But we got to capitalize on some mistakes and get Carson in a good position rather than him having to travel 74 yards every single possession. Just put him in a good spot to score once.
Yeah, so I agree with, obviously, the defensive line part. You have to get after Daniel Jones, stop the run or make the run kind of a non-factor and make Daniel Jones just have to air it out and beat you. The Evan Ingram thing is my main concern. Like, if their offense doesn't scare me at all, but if there's a piece that they try, like you saw in the Dallas game, where they even ran an end around for an Evan Ingram touchdown because he's their best offensive piece with Saquon out. They try to get the ball in his hands. To me, forget the linebackers. This is a Will Parks type assignment. Will Parks is featured in the nickel package even more. It takes a linebacker off the field for you. This is a safety type, Will Parks type of assignment to keep up with Evan Ingram and kind of take that piece away from the Giants offense and turn Daniel Jones over. The Eagles are one of the worst or still had the worst turnover differential in the NFL. George, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But this is a game where you can like reverse that a little bit. Like you can get to Daniel Jones. He doesn't hold on. He doesn't protect the ball well when there's pressure. Like George said, he fumbles a ton. And if you're getting after him and putting him on the ground, like the Baltimore Ravens did to Carson Wentz, you rattle him. He gets happy feet. He throws a pick. Instead of Danny Dimes, Danny Ducks on Thursday night. So let's move offensively. Thank you. So offensively, what I'm looking for is a full 4-quarter performance. This defense, I know they have Jabril Peppers. They have the corner from the Titans, don't they? In their secondary or no?
Who? Yeah, Isaac.
I forget, but maybe I'm wrong. But so they have a couple playmakers, but their defense is nothing. You get Deshaun Jackson back to whatever he could be hurt in 3 plays again. I don't know. I said to get in pre-show. I don't even think it's so much Deshaun's production in the stat line. I think it's Deshaun's just they have to plan for Deshaun Jackson. Now that Deshaun Jackson's back, he is the Eagles' number 1 threat if you're the New York Football Giants. What does that do for a guy like Travis Fulgham, who is starting to make a name for himself and having to face double teams and the other team's best defensive corner? He doesn't get that assignment anymore. You have to respect the deep ball when Deshaun Jackson's on the field. That opens things up underneath for Travis Fulgham. It's Deshaun's just presence on the football field. I need Carson to play a clean game. He fumbled once, didn't throw a pick against Baltimore, even though he was pressured a ton more than any quarterback should. Getting Lane back is huge. So, yeah, just a clean 4-quarter performance, start to finish. Score early, like maybe a first possession touchdown. That'd be nice, boys. I know that's hard to do here in Philadelphia, but I mean, it's a start. So Snap will start with you.
I think you nailed it on the head. Now that Deshaun's back and he can try to open up the field, I think this is the game for Fulgham to really. I know he's already kind of going off with that 150 yards, 130 yards. But I think that's got to be the target. No Zach Ertz. Your run game is depleted. Well, not depleted, but you basically lost your best running back, and the other two guys are bums. So you're not really going to run the ball a ton, in my opinion. So I think it's just Fulgham all day. Get Fulgham involved and get him going early. If you can hit Deshaun, air it out to Deshaun early. Even if you don't get it to him, just put that threat out there. Get that into their minds. That way, like you said, Fulgham will have a little more space to work. The dude is legit. Let's start using him like they've been. Like, clearly him and Carson got some good chemistry, and he likes throwing him the ball. So let's use Fulgham. These guys don't really have a cornerback or a secondary that's really that's scary. And now that you lost a big receiver in Zach Ertz, who even though has been basically non-existent, you got Deshaun Jackson back. Air it out to him. Spread the field out and get Fulgham involved early. Early offense. Get it in their heads that we're coming for blood. This is going to be a passing game. I'm expecting Carson's biggest game for passing yards this week, and I think it's going to be huge.
Again.
Yeah, definitely. I think Travis Fulgham's going to have a big week, but I think a big key is Boston Scott has to give us something. Like you mentioned, our best running back's obviously not going to be playing. Miles Sanders not going to be playing, which against the Giants last year, he looked really good, Boston Scott, but this year he's been very, very subpar. But he has to give you something. I don't know what it's going to be, whether it's out of the backfield passing, whether it's running the ball, and then who's starting at tight end? Is it that Jason Kroom guy?
Yeah.
Richard Rodgers, I think.
Richard Rodgers, who knows on the depth chart.
I love Richard Rodgers.
So, I mean, maybe, I'm not even going to say you need something out of them, but maybe get something out of them. But the three wide receivers between Deshaun Jackson, Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward have to be like really good tomorrow night for us if we're going to win this game. So, but like I said, I think Boston Scott could be a big X factor, and he needs to be a big X factor for us to win.
George?
Yeah, like you guys said, like having D-Jax back is definitely a good thing, especially because the Giants are going to have to plan for him, even if we don't know if he's going to play the whole game, if he gets hurt or whatever. But having Sanders out, Boston Scott needs to step up, like you said, Gint. If he can step up and actually look like even an average running back that he hasn't done it all this year, that's huge for us. Fulgham's going to get in, obviously. He's going to get his. He had like 11 targets last week. 6 catches, something along those lines. Richard Rodgers at tight end, I think he had 3 catches last week. I mean, he was getting in the offense. He was getting passes. Carson's going to spread the ball out. Like we know this. He does this. And if it's not Fulgham most of the time, hopefully we see D-Jax go deep. All you have to do is put points up. If you put points up on this Giants team, the defense should take care of business, and we should win. But like I feel like it's the same story every week. I feel like you say that all the time. But
it's true.
It is very true. I mean, if you put up points against this Giants team, you shouldn't have a problem. Like, if the offense does what they can, if Wentz does what he can, then we should be good. And now that Lane Johnson is back too, and hopefully Carson gets hit much less than he did last week, it's a very winnable game. Like, that's what I'll say.
You put up so many points against the two best defense in the leagues last week. I just don't understand. If this team does not put up 30 points on the Giants, I tank. I know we said we shouldn't be tanking. I'm not for tanking because I know the division's winnable. But if you don't put up at least 30 points on the New York Giants this week, tank. I don't care. Bench Carson for the rest of the season. I don't care. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, you just put not major points, but you put up some points against the two best defenses. This is the New York Giants. I need 35 at least. At least. I don't care if Miles is out. 35 at least.
I need a win.
What if it's like 20?
Jalen Hurts, you use him how you've been using him.
Yeah.
I like how they've been using him. It throws off the defense. If the Ravens were having an issue with that, imagine what this shitty team's going to do.
Yeah. So here's my final thing is Joe Judge has this team competing even without Saquon. They're not a good team. They only have 1 win, but they're competing, and you can't allow this team to stick around and feel like they have a chance to win it late in the game. That cannot happen because there will be trouble at the link on Thursday night if this Giants team sticks around into the fourth quarter and it's a 3-point game or a 4-point game. That is not what the Eagles need. The Eagles need to get out on them quick, put up points early, 4-quarter performance. I truly believe this is a game where, in front of the home crowd Thursday night, can turn the season around. They see what the Cowboys are. They know they can win this division. So go out, and I think this is the game where if the offense gets out to a hot start, the D-line and that defense brings the same type of energy and gets after Daniel Jones, and it's a full 4-quarter performance. If the Giants are slowing down Carson Wentz in the offense early and they're scoreless through a quarter and a half, then I don't know. So it is really important to me that this Eagles team, this Eagles offense, gets on the scoreboard early versus the Giants. So that being said, game predictions, score predictions. Gint, we'll start with you. Do the Birds get their second win of the year, and what is the score?
I think they're going to win. I do.
I hope so.
Shocker.
I'm going to go with
the first week we can predict a win and not have to.
Yeah. I'm going to go 31-14 Birds.
That would be beautiful. Snap.
I got it as a dub. I've been so against this team almost all year, ever since the slow start. But this is, like I just said, this is the New York Giants. They are 1-5. I know we're only 1-4-1, but it doesn't matter. You've shown better ability to score the ball. You've shown that you're at least a better team than this team is. Division game at home, Thursday night football. Everyone thinks we're so shitty. Let's show them why we're not. I'm calling it 38-17. Let's go, baby.
Damn. George.
I'll say division games, like we know division games are tough. We know they can be weird at times, but I really believe we're going to ride that 4th quarter momentum into this game, and I feel like they're motivated to get a W out of this one, especially because they were so close last week. Birds win 31-17.
We're damn close. I'm going 30-17. Eagles win. So all 4 Eagles win. Eagles over 30 plus.
30. If you do not listen right now, I am so confident. Well, I won't say I'm confident, but the Eagles I can't see them not scoring 30. You put up 22 against the Ravens. Put up 30 against the Giants.
In the 4th.
Yes. Like, that's what I mean. Like, put them up against the Giants. If they don't score 30 points, I'll go to 7-Eleven next week during this show, and I will eat the hottest chip, that hottest chip challenge on the show, and I don't do spicy food. I swear to God. Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I put myself through pain at this point. I've already gone through so much.
All right.
I'm here.
I like this.
All right, now let's get into our pigskin picks, which are powered by Manscaped. Everybody, don't forget that the Phaithful Phanatics pigskin pick segment is brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming and offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. For instance, their 3rd-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents. Their waterproof technology allows use in the shower, along with a new LED light, which illuminates grooming areas for closer and more precise trimming. Get 20% off and free shipping with our promo code Phaithful at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off and free shipping using our promo code Phaithful, which you see at the bottom of your screen here at manscaped.com. Also, Halloween is right around the corner, everybody. So Manscaped is offering you their Perfect Package 3.0. Inside this package, you'll find their electric trimmer called the Lawnmower 3.0, which is a waterproof and skin-safe trimmer which will reduce nicks to your pumpkins. You can also create less mess by trimming in the shower or using their Magic Mat disposable shaving mats. Inside this package also comes the Crop Preserver, an anti-chafing ball and deodorant moisturizer. You already put deodorant on your armpits, so why not put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body? Am I right, guys?
It smells really good.
Also, it comes with anti-chafing boxers, so
they're really nice too.
Use our promo code Phaithful, 20% off and free shipping for the Perfect Package. With that being said,
do it.
Give the drum roll. Soundbite of a drum roll. All right. I have no idea where I'm going. So, Gint, we're going to start with you, go down the snap, go over to George, and then up to me.
Underdogs.
What are we doing? Underdogs first?
No, guarantees.
Locks.
Dr. Lock.
I'm going with the Eagles.
Dude.
Coming. We knew it was coming.
George came in here and joked around saying who's doing it, but I was looking at the games again, and there was a couple I was bouncing around with, but I'm taking the Eagles -4.5. No shot we don't win by more than 4.5.
Okay. Snap.
He stole mine. All right, that was mine. So now I'll do 2. I do agree with Gant. -4.5. I mean, I just said it on air. I'm expecting them to win 38-17. So me not saying that this is a lock is dumb. So the Eagles -4.5. And just so I'm not the front runner, the home guy, I'm also going Browns -3 against the Bengals. I love it. I just think that offense is too much for that young team to handle. Their defense is absolute garbage. I'm locking it into the parlay right now.
Lock of the week. I love Deshaun Watson. I think he can keep you in a game. Packers -3.5. I feel like they're a little undervalued. Yeah, I feel like they're a little undervalued after getting their asses kicked last week. So Packers -3.5. They're gonna bounce back. Lock it in.
No way Rodgers just loses.
It's gonna be a bounce back game. It's gonna be a fuck you game.
And I'm also 1-2 from last week. My worst week so far on the show. It's a big bounce back week for Ben.
What are you thinking up there?
I'm going the biggest point spread of week 7.
Oh,
The Buffalo Bills
nobody's
will cover.
like the Buffalo.
Oh, yeah, they'll cover.
Will cover the 13-point spread against the New York disastrous.
I don't like anything over 11.
Oh, it's happening. Did you see the line next week? Not to get off topic. Oh, it's not off topic, but the Chiefs versus the Jets next week is one of the biggest spreads in NFL history. That's at 21 right now.
81.
No way that covers. No way.
The biggest ever is like 28.
Yeah.
No way. That's like that's a game where they just break
No,
everyone's bank.
listen. You have to take the Chiefs, though. That's just you look at a
What?
You got to take it in the NFL. You have to take it. Why not?
That might be the first spread of all time with a positive on it. Like,
I'll tell you this: I'm taking it. I'm gonna lay money on the Chiefs.
No, I'm gonna be the one guy to lay money on them, and everyone's gonna be pissed. And I'm gonna be like, "I told you so."
Yeah, I'm a big alternate spread guy.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know about. I'm a huge alternate spread guy. Like I'm just looking here. Like this, I don't know. This Chiefs 9.5 division game in Mile High. I would like alternate spread that Chiefs -4 or 5, somewhere in that ballpark. So for all you betting people out there, Gint, upset of the week. What do you got for me?
I think this one's a gimme. I'm going to take the Lions +2.5 against the Falcons.
Good thinking.
Dude, the Falcons played the second worst game of football last week, so they looked half decent. Now all of a sudden they're favored over the Lions, who looked unbelievable last week.
Touche. Snap.
I mean, for like this one, it almost seems like a trap, and I'm gonna be nervous the whole Sunday about it. But I just can't see this being a loss. I'm taking Dallas +1 against the Washington football team. I just have no clue how Dallas can lose this game. How they could lose this game. I don't care if their defense is bad. I don't care if their O-line's banged up. I know we're talking all this crap on Andy Dalton and how Zeke can't hold on to the ball, but if they can't beat the Washington football team, they are just as bad as the New York Giants in my eyes. And I have complete faith that offense will just be a little bit too much. I understand that defensive line is pretty good down there in Washington, but Zeke, 2 fumbles last week, I'm taking him for a big bounce back game. I don't think they're going to be able to contain him.
Hate to break it to you, but these guys lost to the Washington football team.
Why are we going way back? Come on, let's just focus.
Sorry, my fault. George.
Upset of the week. It's kind of a iffy upset because they're +1, but I'm going to go with the Steelers over the Titans. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Big Ben comes out on top. I think the Steelers come out on top. Yeah, that's my upset. Not a lot of intriguing upsets on the board for me. I like – yeah. Okay, yeah. I like the Lions.
Don't second guess it. Don't second guess it.
I like the Lions against the Falcons.
I did put that on my parlay as well.
So I was going to say Carolina with the points, but that's not much of an upset if they get beat by 7. So to make things interesting here, because I'm a big outright guy on the show, I'm going to take. I can't wait for this. I'm going to take Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals outright at home over the Seattle Seahawks and the MVP, Russell Wilson.
What are you smoking right now?
Not a fucking shot, brother.
Now?
Well, let me ask you something. Do you expect Seattle to go undefeated?
No, but
Okay. So then why can't a division rival and Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins at home beat that team?
Because they're not good enough.
Yeah, maybe because the
Hold on. Russell Wilson is undoubtedly the MVP right now of the National Football League. And Seattle's undefeated. Hold on.
Off a bye week.
Let him talk.
They barely beat the Minnesota Vikings at home. They barely beat Cam Newton and the New England Patriots. It came down to the last second play. And they barely the Miami Dolphins made that a one-possession game late in the fourth quarter. So it's not like the Seahawks are just pounding every team in the NFL that they play right now.
But they're a good team. That's what good teams do. They handle it. They went down against the Vikings and they came right back. They made sure they didn't lose that game. And besides Kyler, your whole point is Kyler Murray and D-Hop. Like, who's stopping Russell?
Hassan Reddick.
All right.
Dude, did you see that trade? Dude, wait,
I'm joking.
Dude, did you see that ESPN article that was the proposed trade for the Eagles?
No. Oh, yeah, I did see that.
A third-round pick for Hassan Reddick and a fifth-round pick. I was like,
third.
What am I looking at here?
Did you guys see it? Speaking of the Falcons, Kent, did you see that they're trying to shop Matt Ryan and Julio by the deadline?
Yeah, I would give up everything in the organization besides number 11 for Julio.
I would do illegal things to get Julio.
First round pick, second round pick, Zach Ertz. What do you want? It's right here.
Take it all.
He's at my right arm.
Especially because isn't Julio under contract?
Wayne Johnson, Fletcher Cox, and Carson Wentz have.
Yeah, he is.
Or Darius Slay.
That would be incredible.
So, all right.
Oh my God! Please, Howie, please, dude.
Don't even get your hopes up because it ain't happening.
It ain't happening.
If he did that, I'll take every mean thing I said about him this week back.
Me too. Also, because he's coming out saying they're going to be buyers at the deadline. So people were kind of ripping that comment, being that we're 1-4-1. What are you being buyers for? But who knows what'll happen? When is the trade deadline?
I don't know.
A few weeks.
All right, George, I know you had something you wanted to touch on, so we can wrap up the show with this. The Philadelphia Phillies, they're not in the news right now, really, except if it's something negative. JT Realmuto, we know the whole issue with you gave up Sixto Sanchez. We know the Clentak comment on 2 years of, or was it Middleton's comment, 2 years of control. You didn't even make the playoffs. The thing is, it's being rumored that JT wants in the area of $200 million. JT is not getting $200 million anywhere.
Dude.
So while I'm still on the side, I'll hate the Phillies if they don't bring him back somehow.
Wait, wasn't this deal at 80 or 100 before, over 8 years or something?
I forget.
Yeah, no. The thing was, I was thinking 5 along the lines 5-6 years, around 120 million, that. That's what I was thinking. But, dude, I love JT. It's not even arguable that he's the best catcher in all of baseball. But
200 mil, brother.
He is not, especially at the catcher.
Harper isn't worth 200 million. We paid him that. You're not getting that.
Where are you? Cat. No, I mean, dude, he's about to turn 30 years old next March. I love him. He's the best catcher in baseball. It's very clear. Offensively, he's very good for a catcher. He's not good enough to pay that man $200 million a year, even with his defense. The last 2 years, he's ended the season with injuries, and he's fought through injuries. I think it was the knee the 1 year. He's not getting $200 million anywhere. I'm a big advocate of
Don't say anywhere. The Knicks are still a buyer.
I'm a big advocate of fuck the luxury tax, like pay them, like pay the players, like fuck the luxury tax. It's not a huge deal, but you're not no owner, and not even me. Like, I don't want to give JT Realmuto $200 million for 5-6 years. Like, if he's gonna be like 35, 36 on the back end, he's gonna be playing first base, so his defense is not gonna be in the picture. It's not gonna be
all right. And like you said, he is a very good offensive player for a catcher. It's not 200 million.
No, he's not a 200 million. Yeah, for a catcher, he's
even traded for him. Jesus Christ!
It's hard. It's hard to find a catcher that has all the things that JT Realmuto has. But he's not getting 200 mil, and that's the thing. If he's gonna find out he's not gonna get that, I feel like that's just kind of like a asking price to start out. You still have to sign him. Like, nobody's gonna offer.
Absolutely, you let Sanchez. You think that Sanchez go or whatever the.
Sixth though is Pedro Martinez 2.0, so it's gonna be fucking upsetting.
Our bullpen was atrocious this year. You gave up the best pitching prospect I can ever remember, maybe all time. Like, if we're being honest, that the Phillies actually drafted. You kind of have to pay him at the end of the day. He'll probably, if we do pay him, it's gonna be a lot. Now it's gonna be a lot because that's just the added pressure.
We'll see what happens, but
I could see 150.
I think he'll get 150, 160 from somewhere.
Yeah, he's going to stay here.
It's going to be the Mets or the Yankees, and that's
the Mets are going to pay him.
If he goes to the Mets, it's going to be fucking. That's going to be the worst fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. That's going to be
the first game of the season. He's going to hit a bomb in Citizens Bank Park if he goes to the Mets.
Biggest issue with me is not only the fact that you would lose the best catcher in baseball, though. It's what you gave up to get him. For 2 years of playoff-less baseball.
A year and a third.
And also your $300 million franchise player that's going to be here for the rest of his career is literally like marketing, like telling the entire world that you need to pay JT Realmuto. Something's not going to sit right there if JT Realmuto walks. So
the thing that kills me is John Middleton – he told Bryce Harper, he's used his words so much. He's like, we're going to build around you. We're going to give you what you need. He said it a few years back. He said, I'm going to bring another chip to Philadelphia. I'm going to die trying, as he sits on his thumbs and worries about the luxury tax. If they signed JT this year, that's what should have happened. That's what should have happened.
You probably would have gotten him for cheaper.
Yeah, so now it's a whole shit show. John Middleton just pisses me off. I'm glad Clentak is gone. I'm glad we can move on from him. But he wasn't the only problem.
That's the sketchy thing about it all, dude. Clentak was awful, don't get me wrong, and I'm so happy that he's gone. But this issue right here that we're speaking of, that's a John Middleton issue. That wasn't Matt Clentak. Matt Clentak went out and got you JT Realmuto. It's now up to the owner to pay JT Realmuto. It's not on Clentak. That's where it was real tricky with all this. And Clentak kind of fell on that sword, and now you're everyone's realizing you have a cheap ass. And if he wants 200 million, no, I wouldn't give him 200 million either. But let's say the Yankees and the Mets are throwing 140 out there. You better match that or throw an extra couple mil into that picture.
The thing about it is I'm not confident at all that they would, even if it's the Mets, which is the scariest thought in the world. John Middleton, he told Clentak, he was like, build a team. Do not go over the luxury tax this year. That's not really on Clentak. That's John Middleton's money. It's what he chooses to do with it. So
team, John.
Let's see. Let's see what happens. I fucking hope JT.
Josh Harris, John Middleton, get the fuck out.
On that note, let's wrap up this episode of the Phaithful Phanatics podcast. For me, for Gint, for Snap, for George. Have a good night. Go Birds, and let's hope we have a victory Wednesday, the first ever next week.
Manscaping.com. Go use it.
I just got. You still on?
Yeah.
I just got a little nug from the group chat. Wentz is undefeated on Thursday Night Football. Eagles are 6-0 versus Giants when they're wearing their black unis.
Dogs also undefeated on Thursday night. So go Birds.